Welcome to Grownish Woman. I'm your host, Holly Teagarden. This is the podcast for women who are in the messy middle of midlife. Your kids are growing up, your hormones are doing whatever they want, and that quiet little voice is asking, okay, well, what do I want to be when I grow up? And it's getting louder by the day. We talk about the stuff everybody is going through, but nobody wants to talk about. We laugh at the chaos, we sit in the hard parts, and we do it all without judgment because midlife does not come with a manual, but it does come with this podcast. Hey everybody, it is Holly. Welcome to episode 9, the last episode for this first season. We did it, y'all. We freaking did it. We started May 1st, and we are taking a little break after this one. I love when I say we, because it's just me. I'm taking a break in July, and then we'll kick it back up on August 7th with like an intro to the season, life update, and then after that, we'll be hearing from another Holly, who talks about midlife career pivot. And then we're going to get into parenting your parent, what's happening to my hair, which is about hair thinning during this pause season, and much more. But let's get into this past season and all the shit we are going through. We did not get any listener Q&A confessions. It's okay. I am just so happy that you guys are all engaged in it, that you've reached out to me, that you say you liked it. So yeah, honestly, I'm just thrilled with this first season. You know, as I was saying, I started the first season because of the conversation about my daughter going to college, where nobody, not a soul, warned me about the grief that is attached when your child goes to college. And so I was really proud of that. We had Heidi Eiliff on the podcast, who is a photographer, specifically for students, seniors. So she sees a lot of senior parents, coming down the pike. She also has 2 kids who are in the military, one who is in college and one who is about to go into college. And then she has 3 more left at home. So I loved speaking to her about our babies going away and kind of what that feels like. I also had an opportunity to talk to a group of friends who consider themselves soul sisters. And that felt so good to talk with them. Like weeks later, I was able to go on a trip with my friends from high school. And I have to say, it filled my cup. So I get why these ladies go once a quarter somewhere. It's because you can be yourself with these women. You can pee your pants because you're laughing so hard. Honestly, poise. I had no idea, not to stop the conversation, but poise. I had no idea that poise had different levels of pads. And I was like, what? A friend of mine who went on the trip was showing me that, there's 6 or 7 levels, and my brain was shook because I need those, because I am definitely, I think it was a squirter, just level 3. When I'm laughing, I pee. So I was grateful that, poise is out there. So I am not advertising for them, but I'm giving them a plug regardless. So it was great to listen to the Soul Sisters talk about their friendship, and then to carry it through with my own. Highly, highly, highly recommend going on a girls' trip, getting out of Dodge. As Jackie was saying on there, they are really blessed because one of their friends has a house in their family that they can use for free. Totally got that. It does not have to be glamorous to go away. It could be camping. It could be in a shack. It's just spending time together. As awesome as it was to hang out with my girlfriends from high school and how it filled my cup, I feel like I would be a fraud if I didn't talk about something. I actually edited the episode and then realized I needed to add this in because this is real talk. What's interesting is if you haven't seen your friends from high school or college and you're in your 40s and 50s, those friends know so much about you. I mean, truly. I know for mine, they were involved, with me growing up, and probably two of the largest events in my life, our friend's death and a handful of things. And so they know and I went into the weekend thinking like, oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing. And it was. And I peed my pants and I had fun with the devil's lettuce and all the things. But I'm trying to how to explain it. There's a part of me that changed. So growing up, I was raised Catholic. I actually went to Catholic college, my choice, because I just felt so strongly that my faith was very important to me. And I did not really have a relationship with the Lord, but I just knew that my faith was important. And so my friends in high school and some in college were all Catholic. And so we had that common thread. Fast forward though, and I guess I would be called now a Bible beater. I would be called a Bible beater, the freaking person that we used to make fun of, right? Am I going into my Bible every day? Yes. Am I leaning to God for answers? Yes. So I guess I'm a Bible beater. So what I have realized how much I curse, which I'm trying to get better at. And I realized how much less I use the Lord's name in vain. And I know that seems silly for many of you, but when I heard so many JCs and GDs, it kind of like shook me and I didn't say anything. And it's like, it's everybody is who they are, but it hit me how my faith has evolved and really is such a part of me, and my relationship with the Lord is really much stronger than I realized. And I felt ashamed that I didn't let my friends know that. Even though they're friends with me on Facebook, they obviously have seen my posts. But the fact that I kind of stepped into my old ways really quickly. So, anyway, I think it was just an important lesson to learn. Everybody evolves as they go through life. I know I have. The core of me, right? The core of me. I'm still the same friend I was to my friend in elementary school, in high school, in college. I'm still that same person. I really am the same person. But my foundation to my house is not rooted on gravel or stones. Honey, it is like kryptonite, like cement. Jesus got a big old block of cement on me now. And so that is the difference. And I'm sorry to go off on this tangent, but I just felt like I needed to be honest about the weekend. So, yes, I highly recommend doing trips like this. But I also think it's important to be okay if you've changed and to acknowledge it and be open with it and realize that we all change and that it's okay. And that these people still love you and you love them. But yeah, we've grown and that's a good thing. The two episodes really kind of hit me was midlife style and the esthetician. So the owner of Swoon, Carrie, talking about how we try to stay young, and Joanna Hyman talking about like midlife style. I feel like I had a preconceived notion about those two, and it really blew me away. I am now like, oh my gosh, I really need a stylist. I really need to spend some time in my closet looking at what I can purge, what doesn't serve me anymore, and finding styles that fit me based on my current size. Carry stuff. Wow. Like I had no idea that there was regenerative things that you could do instead of just like Botox and fillers and what have you. Those are fine, but like the fact that there's other things to stay young, I was so impressed and I could see the benefit. I mean, I could see the benefit of all of it, but it definitely opened my eyes. I also think the conversation about the sex after 40 with No Filter with a sex expert with Bailey Butler, another one that I feel like that conversation is not talked about with friends, obviously with your spouses. And it is so important. And one of the cliffhangers I had with that one was that there are women who have never masturbated before. And that just like threw me for a loop because I feel like that's such a rite of passage when we're young and exploring ourselves. I think with all of these too, you're realizing that you aren't alone, that there are other people going through these same things, and it's okay. We're normalizing these things through the podcast. My goal is to hopefully have you talking to your friends about what you heard, or your spouse, and just opening that communication. I think one of the toughest episodes, so to speak, was the one that I had with Mike, my husband. We actually launched it on our anniversary, on our 8-year anniversary. And that was about blending families. I know that not everybody has that, but I do know that the people who have blending families, no one talks about like the ins and outs of it and the struggles. So we wanted to be really, really honest about what we've gone through, therapy issues, coming out the other side, offering advice, and just being completely real and honest about it. So my hope with that one is that, yeah, other people are going to share it and be like, holy shit, we are not alone. And let's get the resources that we need to help. Guys, you can't see me right now, but I just realized I'm holding my headset. You know how people hold it with the headset, the string up to their phone, the string up to their mouth? Yeah, I'm doing that, but with the string, the cord that does not have the mouthpiece. I just changed it. How funny is that? That is me doing this podcast. It is, yeah, it's I'm learning along the way. So I appreciate when people say it's well produced, because I'm the one doing the work. And thank God for Riverside, which is the app I use, because it's definitely helped me craft the podcast every week. You know, there's been questions of, will I have an episode about autism? Because, I do have a child who is on the spectrum. I know a lot of friends who have that, but I've decided not to do that. And I think it's because I'm trying to find topics of things that are literally like taboo. Nobody talks about, we're all going through, in this pause stage. The blended families is a little off, but there's so many people that are getting remarried. I felt like I was good with that. But that is really the crux. And what's really interesting is I have found so many topics for this podcast through threads. I think that is the space where people are having real conversations. And maybe it's because it's not where your family and friends are posting their pictures of their loved ones, and it's more about dialogue. So it's been great. I already have planned out 3 seasons by using threads and what people are dealing with, what women are dealing with. Yeah. What else? Here's what's really been interesting for me about the podcast. So I think the first season, actually, probably season 2 too. The first season was very personal. It was things that I'm kind of holding on to or don't talk about. So for me, recording them and having conversations about them actually gave me a lot of healing. Yeah, it really gave me a lot of healing and closure. And it also provided me an opportunity for other people to be healed, because I was able to have conversations with them about it. So, if nothing else, this podcast has provided me therapy in a way. I'm like, oh my gosh, how cool is that if my podcast not only gives me sense of therapy, but others. Yeah. So that has been very encouraging. I feel like I have the list for next season, as I was telling you guys earlier. I feel like next season is going to do the same. If there are topics that you have that interest you, that kind of fall in that kind of genre that I was telling you guys about, like the things that we're all going through but nobody discusses, holler at a girl, DM me, email. In the in between season, my goal is to write blog posts for each episode to just keep the conversation going. I know that the episodes are short. They're anywhere between 25 to 30 minutes. Intentional. I was trying to do it so that somebody could listen to it on the way to grocery store, on the way to work, picking up their kids, like really simple things, maybe before they go to bed, lunchtime, digestible. But there's still a lot on the table that can be said. And so my thought was each episode will have its own post. So that will be fun to kind of relive all the episodes and fill in where we just didn't have enough time to talk. So that is what I'm doing on the downtime. And another fun thing, we are not on TikTok with the podcast. And so I'm going to be making tickety tocketies from the episodes and putting them on there too. And that just allows me an opportunity to kind of increase the voice of the podcast. It's been great. I use Instagram, Threads, and Facebook, and like my own personal LinkedIn page. But I feel like the tickety tocketies is where I'm going to find a lot of people who maybe, haven't found Grownish Woman yet. One thing I wanted to talk about too, like I'm wondering if I just talk about it now or wait. I'll talk about it now. I've said this, I've been very open that my faith, I am a Christian. I'm a Jesus Christian versus a nationalist Christian. If you know, you know. But I know that there are Christians out there that are like, your podcast is not Christian because, we're talking about sex and I don't know, whatever. We're going to be talking about canna moms, so that'll be the devil's lettuce and some just other topics that are typically not in Christian podcasts. And so this is what I say to that. And this is what I've said to people who have asked me. Listen, if you are a believer, you know that enemy, which for the non-believers is the devil. Hello. The enemy feeds on fear. The enemy feeds on lies. The enemy feeds on the darkness in our heart. And yeah, all the shame. And so what I'm trying to do with this podcast is just normalize the things that make us feel that way, to disarm the enemy with all of that. So, hello, Christians. I'm doing my own mission work through this podcast. Holla at a girl. I am 100% serious. I'm not joking. I really think that I'm doing the Lord's work by bringing up things that people keep hidden in their hearts, souls, mind, body, etc. Because when we normalize these things, then yeah, like the devil has no stronghold on us. Boom. So that is my story, and I'm sticking to it till the end. That's all I have to say about that, period. That'll be a tickety tockety short. But for real, I feel that way. Yeah. What else, y'all? I'm just trying to think. I would really love feedback too. I mean, I can see which episodes did the best, and for lack of better words, the worst. So, I know which ones are hot or not. But I would just love your feedback. The only thing I've gotten is your episodes are too short. And that's not going to change because I just feel like I just want it, I don't know, snackable. I want it snackable. And I want to be able to carry through with a blog post about it just to keep the conversation going. So, yeah, that is just kind of my game plan, always has been. So, I'm trying to think. Confessions. What confessions do I have? I feel like before every episode I've given my confessions. But let's talk about them. The esthetician Carrie Fasoon, I was like judgy with women who use Botox, fillers, etc. And after that episode, it changed my whole perspective of it. And I am sorry for the judgy, and I truly get why people do it. The sex therapist, I gotta be honest with you, that one scared me a little because I really pictured the Sex and the City episode when all the women were in this broad's house at a sex therapist's house, and this woman and her husband started having sex. I was like, oh my gosh, is this what we're going to get? Like, what is going to happen? So when I spoke to Bailey, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm such an idiot. Like, that is not what a sex therapist is. And I'm so glad to have this conversation and bring it to life. I really think there are so many people who could benefit from her expertise. And the same with Joanna. Yeah, because I don't know. I don't know. I always picture styling where at the end of it, you're like, who the fuck am I? But really, she's taking you and just making you the best you can be, your most authentic self. You stop hiding and start dressing for the woman you are now. And I'm like, yes, queen, yes. Let me save my pennies to make this happen for me. Ladies, I feel like summers are always hectic, so I'm going to take a little breather. And just so you know, most podcasts do this. It's usually from 8 to 15. So I just decided to do 9. It's nice to have a month-long break. I have the first couple already recorded, and so we come back 8 7, and that season 2 will end on 10/2. What's kind of fun is my birthday is one of the Fridays. So I will be doing an episode, What I Know at 53, because I'll be turning 53 this year, September 4th. Okay, let me talk about this. When I first started, I knew I wanted to have myself or my friends or an expert come on. And it has been great to do these with experts and some of my friends. I feel like there'll be less of me by myself. I don't know. I just vibe on other people. I'm not as like adorable and funny by myself. I need another person to bounce shit off. So yeah, most likely most of the episodes will be with other people, except the one that I just talked to you guys about, which is What I Know at 53, which is a ton of shit. You don't want to miss that one. A ton of stuff and nothing at all, because that's the 50s. But yeah, so I just want to thank everybody for listening. I want you all to have a great July. Hit me up, review. I'm plugging my shit. Review, like, subscribe, do all the things. Please. Thanks, ladies. Oh, and men. Y'all don't know. My friend's husband is like, I listen to your show every week. And I'm like, okay. And he talks to his wife about it. So, like, that's great. That is great. I think, if men understood us more, life would be for people who have partners that are men. So thank you all. Be blessed. Savor July. I'll come back in August with a new life update, new episodes, and just the normal sass that I bring. Okay, that is a wrap on today's episode of Grownish Woman. And honestly, I could have kept going. If something you heard today made you laugh, made you cry, or maybe made you text your best friend and say you have to listen to this, that's exactly why I created it. Do me a favor. If you're loving the show, please subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts and leave a review. It takes like 2 minutes and it really means the world to me. It also helps other women in the messy middle find us. And trust me, they need the community just as much as we do. Come find me on Instagram, Grownish Woman Podcast, and keep the conversation going, because what we talk about here, it doesn't need to stop when the episode ends. It doesn't need to stop when the episode ends. I'll see you next August. Until then, be a little kinder to yourself. You're doing better than you think.